Kassadin, or whom does the desert know? The foreign tongue used to describe him was often slurred, and the desert guide would come to be known as Kassadin. He spent many of his years exploring the ancient ruins of the Great Sa Desert, making many of his employers extremely wealthy. But it was not until a dig near Zirima that he found a treasure of his own. He fell in love with a woman from the desert tribes. With his wife and newborn daughter Kaisa, they settled into a small village in the rocky canyons to the south. His work sometimes required him to travel from home when protecting valuable relics. He would always return home and bring stories of faraway lands. It was when journeying home from the distant Piltover, Kassadin and his band first encountered the terrified survivors stumbling out of the desert. They spoke of a calamity that opened up and swallowed whole villages, as if dragging them down into the underworld. Kassadin broke from the group and began to ride for his home, bearing down on his horse to the point of exhaustion. When he reached his village, all he found was shifting sands and rubble. He clawed at the sand and rubble until his hands bled, screaming out his wife and daughter's names.
My daughter, I'm sorry.
When his caravan finally caught up to him days later, all they found was a broken and weeping man laying in the scorched earth. They dragged him back to Zirima, where for years he would drown his sorrow in booze, becoming little more than a vagrant. Word reached Zirima one day of the prophet of the Void, and Kassadin came to a realization. The Void had been intentionally drawn to his village by this prophet, and was likely the death of his entire family. He swore in this moment to avenge his wife, daughter, and entire village by killing the prophet and destroying his source of abyssal power.
I will kill the false prophet.
Kassadin knew he would need to arm himself with the most arcane and esoteric weapons in Valoran if his plan had any hope of succeeding. Calling in every favor he could, he began to procure ancient artifacts and magics, people calling him mad, believing this to be the last time they would see their old friend. Kassadin would thank them for their concern and move on to the next favor. Lastly, he would steal the nether blade of Horuk, the sword that had slain 1,000 deceivers in the final years of the Empire. He could feel the cold pull of the blade's dark power, but with nothing left of his old life to lose, he abandoned his morality and accepted it, disguised in the robes of a pilgrim. It had been more than a decade since he set foot in Icathia. It was here he would make his way into the Void. He would go where no man was ever meant to walk.
I will have my vengeance, even if it kills me.